Just imagine being paid the equivalent of about $1,000 a day to live in a prison. That's exactly what these people signed up for. But things turn out to be a lot more complicated than they expected. The story begins with Travis, a man who was recently laid off after his company made budget cuts. A simple opportunity starts pulling him towards something much bigger. The next day, he attends a protest with a friend. His friend tells him that back in college, he used to make money by participating in research experiments. Suddenly, a fight breaks out nearby, and a soldier knocks a beautiful young woman to the ground. Travis has been watching her for a while. Angry, he raises his fist at the soldier, but deep down, he doesn't actually have the courage to throw a punch. Moments later, the police take the soldier away, and Travis helps the woman, Bae, back to her feet. What feels like a chance meeting quickly becomes something more. That evening, the two of them go to a bar. Bae tells him it's her last day in town because she's moving to India permanently. Some goodbyes arrive long before people are ready for them. Bae invites Travis to come with her, but he doesn't have enough money. Later that night, Travis reads a newspaper ad looking for volunteers for an experiment that pays participants every day. Because he needs the money, he decides to sign up. The offer sounds simple, but nothing about it is ordinary. The following day, he arrives at the first meeting and becomes friends with Michael and Benji. The experiment is being run by Dr. Archuleta, who has everyone fill out paperwork before explaining the project. The researchers are studying life inside a prison environment, and they specifically need people who have never been to jail before. The doctor assures them they'll be completely safe, but says they may have to deal with some discomfort in order for the experiment to produce accurate results. The promise of safety always sounds reassuring at the beginning. Afterward, the doctor interviews everyone to select 26 participants. Travis explains that he wants nothing to do with violence and doesn't follow any religion. Michael says he used to be on a drill team and is actively involved with his church. By the end of the interviews, their lives are already starting to change. After the interviews, everyone is taken into a closed room and shown strange photos and videos. Some feature children and animals, while others contain scenes of violence. A short time later, Travis meets Bae one last time. As she kisses his soft fingertips, she tells him she always knew he never had the courage to hit that soldier. The two spend time talking about India, and Travis promises he'll visit after the experiment is over. Neither of them realizes how much is about to happen before then. Travis is selected for the study, and a bus arrives to transport all the participants. On the way to the prison, they reflect on some of the most important moments of their lives. When they arrive, the driver refuses to let anyone take personal belongings inside, which leaves Benji frustrated. On the first day, Dr. Archuleta gives everyone one final chance to leave. He makes it clear that fighting of any kind is forbidden, and if violence breaks out, the experiment will end immediately. The rules seem clear, but rules are only as strong as the people following them. 6 participants are assigned as guards, while the remaining 20 become prisoners. The guards are instructed not to allow anything from the outside world to enter, and not to let anything from inside leave. And with that, the prison experiment officially begins. There are also 5 rules that every prisoner must follow at all times. They have to eat 3 meals a day, and every bit of food on their tray must be finished. They're only allowed outside their cells for 30 minutes each day. The rules seem simple enough, until people are forced to live by them. All prisoners must stay within their designated area. Rule number 4 states that they can only speak when someone speaks to them first, and under no circumstances can a prisoner touch a guard. If anyone breaks a rule, there will be consequences. The most dangerous part is that if even one participant quits the experiment, nobody gets paid. If a prisoner breaks a rule, the guards have 30 minutes to punish them. If they fail to do so, a red warning light will come on, and the entire experiment will be shut down. Suddenly, everyone's paycheck depends on everyone else's behavior. After the doctor leaves, the guards strip the prisoners and hose them down just like in a real prison intake process. One of the guards, Boyce, feels sorry for the prisoners, but not everyone on the guard side feels the same way. Some of the guards are clearly enjoying it. Afterward, they line all the prisoners up and announce that from now on, everyone will be referred to only by their assigned number. Travis is placed with Benji, and another prisoner named Nix is assigned to their group. The names disappear first, and that's only the beginning. Later, during recreation time, the prisoners are playing basketball when the ball accidentally hits a guard named Boss. The guards immediately pull aside the prisoner who threw it, even though Boss keeps saying it was obviously an accident. But Kay and Helmet insist that rule number 5 has been broken. If they want the experiment to continue, punishment has to be handed out. They order the prisoner to do 10 push-ups, but he refuses because he didn't throw the ball on purpose. What starts as a mistake quickly turns into a power struggle. The guards then order all the prisoners to do push-ups. Watching the prisoners obey begins to entertain them. When 30 minutes pass and the red light never comes on, the guards become convinced that what they did was justified. For the first time, authority starts feeling good. The next day, the prisoners are served food that's even worse than jail food. Nix forces himself to finish everything and leaves, but the rest can barely swallow it. Hellweg and Chase remind them that prisoners aren't allowed to break the rules, and that every meal has to be finished. The food is terrible, but the real problem isn't the food anymore. Instead, Travis dumps his entire tray onto Hellweg's hands. Once again, the guards try to punish everyone, but this time the prisoners start throwing food back at them. Later, While the guards discuss what happened, Chase is furious. He says the prisoners only acted that way because they know the guards aren't allowed to physically assault them. Michael disagrees. He says there are other ways to break the prisoner's spirit without laying a hand on them. And that's when the experiment takes a darker turn. One by one, they enter the prisoners' cells and spray fire extinguisher chemicals directly into their faces. Michael drags Travis out, cuffs his hands to the cell door, and forces him to sleep on the floor. Now Michael is beginning to understand just how intoxicating power can be. Later that night, Benji becomes sick because he hasn't been getting enough food. The line between role-playing and reality is starting to disappear, but the guard gets annoyed and sends him right back. On the third day, Michael comes in and orders everyone to start following the rules properly. By now, Benji still hasn't gotten out of bed, and that immediately puts Michael in a bad mood. A prison runs on obedience, and Benji can no longer keep up. The guards check his file and discover that Benji actually has diabetes. Even after learning that, they force him out of bed and begin dragging him outside. Travis steps in front of the guards to help Benji, and Michael doesn't like that at all. Michael pulls out his baton, but Travis reminds him that if a fight breaks out, they'll all lose their money. After that, the guards shove every prisoner back into their cells. Later, Travis tells Nix that he knows he's been in prison before. Some secrets are dangerous, especially inside a place like this. Nix immediately threatens him and says it's better if that secret stays buried. He also warns Travis not to push the guards too far, because they're starting to act exactly like real correctional officers. Meanwhile, the guards come up with another way to keep the prisoners scared. They drag Travis out, strap him to a chair, and shave his head. What started as an experiment is beginning to feel very real. Even after that, Travis keeps insulting them. Furious, Michael kicks him and then urinates on him. Wash is clearly uncomfortable watching it happen, but the rest of the guards begin siding with Michael. The abuse keeps escalating, and fewer people are willing to stop it. 30 minutes pass, and no red warning light comes on. That convinces them the punishment was acceptable. Boss, however, makes his position clear. He says that if anything like this happens again, he's walking away from the experiment. Afterward, Travis returns to his cell. On the fourth day, he hides a small piece of bread in his pocket and secretly gives it to Benji, who is still extremely sick. Benji's condition keeps getting worse, and time is running out. Benji admits that he needs his medication and reveals that he lied during the interview so they would accept him into the study. Travis tries to tell one of the guards, but Benji stops him. That night, when Wash comes by to check on Benji, Travis offers him money to bring Benji's medication from his belongings. For the first time, someone on the guard side hesitates to follow the rules. At first, Boss refuses, but eventually he agrees to get the medication without taking any money. At the same time, Chase pulls a prisoner named Oscar out of his cell and takes him into an isolated room. Behind closed doors, a different kind of danger is waiting. The truth is, Chase wants to take advantage of Oscar, but before anything can happen, Michael catches him. Chase quickly lies and claims that Oscar wanted to share some secret information with him. Just then, Helmet interrupts them. He shows the guards on the security cameras that Boss is searching through the prisoners' bags. The guards stop Boss, take the medication away, and force the truth out of him. Now the medication is no longer help, it's leverage. Michael takes the medication to Benji himself. To keep Travis from interfering, Hellweg drags him into the bathroom. Michael gives Benji the medication, then heads into the bathroom so he can teach Travis a lesson. Inside, Travis keeps mocking Michael, telling him that once he gets paid, he should spend the money getting his head checked. As punishment, the guards force Travis's face into a toilet seat. At first, Travis keeps insulting them, but after a while, his courage finally begins to break. For the first time, the resistance starts to crack. After enduring so much humiliation, Travis finally breaks. When he returns to his cell, he collapses and begins crying uncontrollably. Meanwhile, in the middle of the night, the other guards drag Boss into an isolated room and beat him. The prisoners aren't the only ones being punished anymore. By the fifth day, Benji is feeling better after getting his medication. Then Michael arrives and announces that Boss will now be joining the prisoners because he broke the rules. Fed up with Michael's dictatorship, Travis takes off his shirt. The other prisoners follow his lead. He climbs onto a door and starts yelling at the surveillance camera, demanding that they open the door. For the first time, the prisoners openly challenge the system. Michael yanks him down and begins choking him, but from behind, Benji attacks Michael to save his friend. Furious, Michael swings his baton and smashes Benji in the head. Benji drops to the floor. Blood begins pouring from the wound. Michael orders all the prisoners locked into separate cells, and to keep the others under control, Travis is thrown into solitary confinement. Now fear is no longer enough. Michael wants complete control. Even some of the guards are growing uncomfortable with his behavior. One of them walks up to a camera and demands to be let out. But inside this prison, nobody seems to be listening anymore. Michael shuts him down again, insisting that the red warning light never came on, which means everything they're doing must be acceptable. On the sixth day, Chase once again takes Oscar into the same isolated room and starts forcing himself on him. The experiment has completely crossed the line. At the same time, Travis comes up with a plan. Using his bracelet, he manages to unlock a maintenance door connected to a pipe access area. Then he hears Oscar calling for help and rushes to save him. Together, they attack Chase and beat him until he loses consciousness. They take his keys and begin freeing all the prisoners from their cells. The balance of power shifts in a matter of minutes, but Benji never recovers from the head injury. He's gone. That loss finally destroys whatever patience the prisoners had left, and they storm out looking for the guards. Terrified, the guards try to escape, but the exits have been locked from the outside. Eventually, the prisoners catch up to them and begin beating them one by one. In the chaos, Michael attacks Travis with a knife, and suddenly, the experiment becomes a fight for survival. Travis grabs the knife's sharp blade with his bare hand. Enraged and completely out of control, he fights back and brutally beats Michael despite his own injuries. Everything finally explodes into the outcome they were warned about. At last, the red warning light comes on, the doors unlock, and the experiment is finally stopped. A few hours later, a bus takes everyone home, and each participant receives a check worth a large amount of money. News of the experiment spreads across the entire country. Eventually, Dr. Archuleta faces a lawsuit over Benji's death. The money remains, but the damage can never be undone. Sometime later, Travis travels to India to see Bay. When she sees him again, she notices something has changed. His fingers are no longer soft. The prison may be gone, but it left its mark on him forever. If stories like this stay in your head long after they're over, subscribe to Rafsat, because this story is over, but it doesn't feel over.